Oops, looks like I got it wrong. Don't oops me. Maybe this boot to the head will knock some sense into you. I know it's hard with all that's gone on during this trial. But try to think back to what happened in the evidence room 4 days ago. Now that he mentions it, we did find something during yesterday's investigation. Something that proves Gant entered the room. Oh yeah, I was supposed to just pick the paper. Yeah. Looks like he wants another one of your boots, Udgy. Well, there's only 2, so I guess I'd get the death penalty at that point. I see. Alright then. Oops.
Wow! I thought you showed. Is that it? You want to present that? What is it?
What? A number is engraved on the back of the badge. I wish they'd put my name on it instead so I could remember it.
It screws in.
So I highlighted this, and they're like, "There's a number." No, it's a pin.
Well, I mean, but it's not one of those ones that has a point on the end like you think it would.
No.
That's weird.
Maybe he has like a designated spot on his shirt that it goes through every time.
I mean, but how do you buy a new suit?
You just punch it.
Just punch it.
Oh no, you have like a punch. You have a little.
Like a hole puncher for your call, man.
Yeah. I've installed that kind of thing before. It's pretty straightforward.
You've installed a hole in a lapel?
Yeah. I mean with the ring and everything. Like the little metal ring that would be around the hole so it doesn't like spread or anything.
Why have you done this?
Because I worked in an upholstery store.
Oh, well that makes sense. I was like, I worked
in an upholstery shop.
I just thought you were modifying your own clothing.
There's genuinely like a little like hand clamp thing that you would do to install like a metal ring onto a piece of material. That stuff could like loop through.
Isn't there a name for that metal ring?
I'm trying to think.
What's a grommet? Is it a grommet? Okay, someone out there knows what I'm talking
Wallace
about.
over here with their vocabulary.
All I know is that like there are metal pieces that are involved in clothing making, and there's a metal piece called a grommet, and I don't remember what kind of metal piece it is, but
this is the ID card list. Yes, the one that shows who entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. There was one ID on the list we couldn't determine the owner of yesterday. 777-777-7.
7.
Sorry, but there's no way you can prove that's my card number.
Well, prove it isn't.
Yeah, this is definitely not. You could definitely subpoena that. Like, this is definitely not a thing you could just be like, I'm not gonna tell you my ID number as a police officer. I guess your trial's over.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's information you can get via warrant.
So you're dumb enough to make it your fucking safe combination. What? How do you know that? It's this. The safe in Chief Gant's office requires a code to open. A 7-digit code. 7 digits? You don't mean? I'm afraid so, Your Honor, which is why I shook my head no for some reason. The code was 777777.
7.
The same as the remaining ID card number on that list.
That honestly still doesn't prove it, though. I'm just saying. Like...
Ooh, boss fight face.
Look at that face.
Look at that eyebrow twitch.
Oh yeah.
It's wiggly. He's got a wiggly, his fist is vibrating.
The pecs are more pronounced now.
They look odd. They're so droopy.
Yeah, it's not good.
I guess he's just an old man now.
Aw.
He's just sagging in places. He looks like the beach photos of Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh.
When he was afterward, he's been a governor for years.
Yeah. He's allowed to rest his body. He worked it out for a very long time.
Chief Gant, you entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. Order, order. Chief Gant, what do you have to say? Nothing. The defense's search of my office was in violation of regulations. And I will demand Mr. Wright be punished to the maximum extent of the law. Right after you get cocked. But right now, this court demands an explanation from you. About the use of this ID card. Chief Gant, so you admit it. You entered the evidence room on the day of the crime? What about it? I'm chief of police. Whether it's the evidence room or the bathroom, what's the difference? I can go anywhere I want. What are you doing in the evidence room?
Yeah, you creep. There is a difference between an evidence room and a bathroom, sir.
Yeah, I like to just go pee in the corner of the evidence room. It's why Marshall calls it the forbidden space, or whatever the fuck he called it. Tell me, when you entered the room, were you alone? I always go to the bathroom alone, as I do with the evidence room. What? You can't. What?
So you just have like one locker that he just continuously pees in?
I like the idea that every time he goes to the bathroom, everyone else is not allowed to use the restroom.
Oh, like it's like a multiple person bathroom, but he like
there's like a little like open closed sign like a shop, and he like rotates it to like off limits because Gant is in here.
Oh my gosh.
So you can't come in here. You can't come in.
Gant. Oh my god. Oh my god. Dude, I live with Keith, man.
Yeah, it's a treasure.
These
I'm perfect. Earlier I called her dinner vomit.
It was good. I made tuna casserole, which I will admit doesn't look the best, but it's fucking good.
You took 2 cans of tuna and dropped them into a bowl, then took 2 like sealed cans of like
cream of mushroom
and poured those on,
and then
just
milk.
Milk, and you just started stirring it, and I was like.
But hey, no, listen, you guys, you have some nice egg noodles, okay? You mixed it with the egg noodles. I roasted some asparagus and some mushrooms and some butter, mixed those into the pasta, put breadcrumbs and crunchy onions on top with parsley, all right? So, like, the beginning description sounds disgusting. The end description sounds pretty fucking good, right?
I mean, as somebody who has thrown up before, indistinguishable.
Keith gets to eat none.
Detective Goodman wouldn't have happened to be with you that day, would he? Of course not. Why would he be? I hadn't seen him in days. That's weird. You hadn't seen him in days? Chief Gant, I'm afraid you just undone yourself. On that day, you had to have met Detective Goodman. When you kissed. In this photo. What do you mean? This trial's purpose is to determine Lana Sky's guilt.
We're so far away, I've forgotten.
Yeah, it's really hard. This is a... Did we write this case?
Did we ramble on for too long? We made this case?
No, it isn't, Your Honor. This trial's purpose is to determine the truth. If Chief Gant met the victim on the day of the crime, then we need to determine one thing. What transpired during that meeting? He had a long mouth in that picture.
You know, you just have those days where you just have a really long mouth, you know?
That specific camera angle, it like droops diagonally, like really far down the side of his face. Like the line seems to go a little too far.
This case gave him a stroke.
Oh no! In that case, Mr. Wright, I'm going to have to ask you for evidence. A thing that everything is. Show us proof that the victim went to meet Chief Gant the day of the crime.
Blue, 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 badger, do, 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 probably the note.
This was awarded to who again? Oh yeah, to
No, that's Edgeworth. No, it's probably the note. Or,
it's this. I think they said this can only be deposited. This can only be given to Gant.
But didn't they like? Wasn't it not?
Can only be submitted to the chief of police. Bam!
All right. I was gonna say I didn't think he gave it to anyone because he didn't fill it out all the way.
I don't remember where he found it.
Yeah.
Detective Goodman lost his ID card the day of the crime. Oh, to be more accurate, Jake Marshall stole it, so he really fucked you on this, didn't he?
Punk ass.
He didn't even know what was happening. He just happened to be having follow-up on the same case the same day and happened to create like a reverse, like an anti-alibi for you.
I can't believe that happened coincidentally.
That entire fucking day was useless and meant nothing.
I really thought it was gonna be...
There wasn't even a murder.
I thought it was a planned effort, for sure.
The entire second day spent on a pretend murder. That's because we're searching for meaning and purpose. And economical storytelling, but instead an entire day of a 3-day trial that is the longest case in all of this game, if not all of Phoenix Wright as a series, was spent on a pretend murder that didn't happen. And that might have been the longest day of the 3 days. I feel like that was half the case. There wasn't a murder.
You know what would really prevent this sort of thing from happening? Not trying for a murder until you found a body. That would really help.
Yeah, and like, why didn't Gant just come clean over there not being a murder at that location if it didn't even help his case?
Yeah,
why was he being cagey about the pretend murder?
That's why I thought it was related. Why would I not think it was related?
They was literally creating an alibi against the case that he was framing someone for. His whole goal.
If anything, it kind of screws him up more.
He specifically wants this murder to go off without a hitch, and the entire second day happens because he won't just tell us that the murder wasn't real. Of the fake murder. That it contradicts the murder he wants someone to go to jail for.
If anything, it's just distracting everyone in a way that might disbenefit him.
Like, we were literally about to convict Lana Skye, which is what he wants.
Yeah.
And then that came up, and he didn't just be like, no.
Once again, there was no body found.
Yeah.
The end of story.
So Detective Goodman filled out a lost item report. He would have had to give that report to the chief of police. Yet you are in possession of the report, which means you can't be sure that if he filed it. He filed it. How do I know, you ask? Because he needed to enter the evidence room that day. He needed to? Yes, to transfer the evidence out. Oh. Detective Goodman took the form to you, Chief Gant. Then, you accompanied the detective into the evidence room. I accompanied him? There's no other way the murderer and Detective Goodman could have entered the room.
Oh, that's why, you know what, that does actually make sense, because that's why his badge number shows up, but the Goodman's doesn't.
Yeah,
during that murder
until
time.
later, because Marshall's just fucking everything up.
Yeah, I mean, we were arguing earlier, like, oh, maybe you don't have to put in both people's numbers if you are just going in together.
Yeah.
But I think it's a better explanation, because he didn't have his ID card, so he couldn't have swiped it anyway. So he has to go in with somebody else. It's not just like they were hanging out. It's like he was like providing him a service because he didn't have his ID card.
Why would you kill someone in a room where you have to use an ID to get in?
And there's also cameras in it. And also you're aware of both of these things because it's a place where you work, so it's not as if you could overlook this.
Hold on. Let me guess what you're gonna say next.
Are you Joseph Joestar?
I, the chief of police, murdered poor Goodman.
Yes.
Exactly. But wait. The chief didn't necessarily need to accompany him into the evidence room. He could have just lent him his ID card. Yes. Now that you mention it, I believe I might have done something of the sort. That's not how thoughts work. Now that you mention that, history changed.
Actually.
Sorry, but that's not possible. According to the record, your card was only used once. Yet you showed us your ID card earlier. If you had really lent it to
Or you would have seen him again, yeah.
It would have been found on his body.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god! Pikachu used Thunder Shock!
I want to see that again.
Oh my fucking god. This really did inspire Undertale. Chief Gant, you did it. The murder was most likely a spur-of-the-moment crime, for no one in their right mind would choose the police department as a place to commit murder.
Okay, good. I'm glad you're at least acknowledging this.
You dumb shit.
Yeah, fucking idiot.
after the murder, you contacted Lana on the prosecutor's phone. Why? To dispose of Detective Goodman's body, of course.
But then lunch lady caught you.
Why would someone... It's like... Why... Of all people, the chief of police you think would be especially poised to get away with murder by premeditating it and being clever with it and all that. Mm-hmm. And he just does it spur of the moment and fucks it all up and just stumbles backwards through a framing.
If anything, as the chief of police, you have seen countless murders, and so you think you could learn from people's past mistakes, especially that whole jumping the gun, killing someone at in an instant, not thinking about it problem.
You just lure them somewhere and they're like, wow, there sure is a lot of plastic in this room.
Why is there newspaper on the floor? Do you have a dog or something? Actually, Hip to Be Square is a really great album. Let me tell you about Huey Lewis and the News.
Watch out for the statue. You're forgetting, Mr. Wright, that the victim's body was discovered in the prosecutor's office parking lot. How did he manage to move it there? He put it in your car because you were there. That's why he had you go get a screwdriver.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Thank you,
so they
Keith.
could hide it in your body.
I was wondering about that freaking
And then you never,
screwdriver.
while driving to the prosecutor's office, were ever like, what's that smell?
I don't think it would be that immediate.
There's a bleeding out body in the back of your car. It's gonna smell like something, I think.
Like iron.
Yeah. I was at the police department the entire day, you know. Yeah, it's time for us to finally cash in on the thing we figured out 10 minutes into this trial, a month and a half ago. Whatever the fuck that was.
What part?
When the body being moved, it was the first theory.
Yeah, duh.
We're finally cashing it in. And everyone's aware that Lana stayed at the prosecutor's office after the ceremony. Everyone except me, it seems. Still, you're the chief of police. You have an entire police force at your disposal. So you think I just ordered an officer to do it? Hey, you. Take this here dead body over to the prosecutor's office. I don't think so.
You've already established the fact that you're blackmailing someone, so...
Chief Gant, you left all the evidence we need to prove how you moved the body to the prosecutor's office. And all this time, I thought it was a useless clue taking up space. It's definitely the screwdriver.
Thank you for also thinking that, Phoenix, because I also thought it was a useless clue taking up space. Actually, it's the blue badger. Put the blue badger out.
The blue badger is capable of lifting the human body and propelling it at great force.
It's sentient.
Yeet!
Yeet!
Just throws it across the city. And
Dude.
the song plays the whole time. How could the chief have moved the body? Mr. Wright, show us this evidence. To move the victim's body, Chief Gant used this. This is how he moved Detective Goodman's body.
He just inched it with a screwdriver by poking it repeatedly.
It's a magic wand. He's like, Akio Goodman.
What? Akio?
Akio's the fetching spell.
From what?
From Harry Potter.
Oh.
So he said it's like that, in remember Goblet of Fire? This dragon happens and he summons his broom to him.
Yeah.
He says Accio Firebolt. And the firebolt comes to him.
I
Because that's a
see.
spell they use a few times.
Nerd.
That's also those scenes where they use their wand to pull something out of Hermione's infinite bag.
Yeah.
They use that spell. Anyway.
Anyway.
I literally have a wand next to me.
Nerd.
What's that? A screwdriver? What does that have to do with this case? Mr. Edgeworth, think back to the day of the crime. What is the screwdriver doing here? It's here because... I was asked to go by Chief Gant, no less. He told me he wanted me to keep it here in the prosecutor's office. In any case, move the fucking statue. It's stabbing the upholstery. That's a hard corner. In any case,
He's so
on the
upset.
day of the stabbings, I brought this back. That's the only wrong answer in the entire room of where to put that. He could put it anywhere in the entire room.
What if he put it in
he took a fucking hard plastic corner and he's stabbing it, or marble corner, and he's stabbing it directly into a furnished couch.
Keith, I think a bad place to put it would be on top of the teapot or in the flower vase.
It literally couldn't go there.
It crushed. Well, no, you put it on top of the stack of plates, and it would just would be very precarious and dangerous. Or you could put it inside the flower vase and just crush all the flowers with its weight.
I mean, those are just cartoonishly dumb places, though.
Well, yeah, but you said the only wrong spot.
Wow,
so.
I'm fucking case closed. I guess you did it.
Objection.
In any case, on the day of the stabbings, I brought this back here. It's not even leaning on one of the edges, it's a corner. Like, if it was leaning back, the entire back edge would be, putting pressure into the couch, and it would be more spread out. But it's literally diagonal somehow, so only one corner of the entire base is stabbing into the couch. He presumably likes his couch, so what the fuck, Edgeworth?
You don't know if he does.
You have to do a fucking... you have to use that plasticky resiny shit to do a spot weld a spot to just seal it so that there's no longer a puncture wound. Otherwise, you have to replace the entire cushion because there's no seams. You can't you can't. There's no panel to replace. You have to replace the entire cushion because it's one continuous piece of fabric sewn around itself.
Keith's having a flashback.
Yes, I am. I've done this. I've done both of those things. They're usually their restaurant booths because no one cares about them and it's not their property. So I'm gonna fuck it up. I'm gonna sit down with my keys in my back pocket and fuck up.
I'm gonna let my toddler use a fork to stab the seat repeatedly.
Isn't it funny how I'm cutting up this restaurant booth like a steak? Oh man, I'm gonna pretend to eat it.
Delicious.
Just increasingly cartoonish, disrespectful actions against a restaurant's property.
I'm gonna bend all their spoons. I'm gonna stand on the table and punch their chandelier.
After the ceremony ended that day, I didn't plan to return to the prosecutor's office. But you did, because Chief Gant asked you to. You mean You drove a corpse, you fool. The body was found in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. I think it's obvious what happened. The body was moved by that car. This was the most obvious detail of the entire trial.
Yeah.
Detective Goodman's body was carried in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. Yes, unless of course you have another explanation, Chief. Why else would you have asked Mr. Edgeworth to transport evidence from a closed case? There's only one plausible explanation. To transport the body to your accomplice. To Miss Lana Skye. She's at the prosecutor's office. I'm seeing bad art, but I can't ever look at it because it never stays on that screen.
Oh, the
wide shot?
Yeah.
Have you noticed that there's it's like those pillars you see on bedposts? Mm-hmm. Or there's 4 of them along the judge's desk. And the bulbs on the top of them protrude beyond the framing that they're supposed to be in. They stick up past it and it looks really weird.
I've not noticed that.
I keep staring at it. Order, order, order. What's going on here? Is there no room for rebuttal to the defense's outrageous accusations? Think back to the photograph Miss Starr took at the prosecutor's office. This was not a photo of the body being stuffed in the trunk to be taken away. It was exactly the opposite. It was a photo of the body being taken from the trunk. Chief Gant, please say something. I believe... Your time's up.
He shrunk.
Bye-bye. My time's up? Everyone in this room will now die. Sorry, Rhino, but I'm having lunch with the District Attorney General after this. We have to get going if we're going to make it in time for the early bird special.
You can't freaking do this.
He can just withdraw his testimony whenever he feels like. But the cross-examination isn't finished yet. Remember what I told you earlier? A police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal, such as this one. Weapons? Like the right to refuse to testify. I'm invoking that right now.
Everyone has that right.
That's a normal right.
You have to plead the fifth because you can't plead the first.
It's weird that he talked this long. That was a mistake. What?
I know, right? It's like, why didn't you just never talk at all?
That is not a right to be casually invoked. There are certain risks to be considered. You have to play Russian roulette first. Alright, go. Hope it clicks.
Oh gosh. I'm just thinking of Deer Hunter now. You've seen that movie, right?
I don't think so. I played a game called Deer Hunter.
It's Christopher Walken and I was gonna say Danny DeVito, but it's not who.
Mr. DeVito, come with me now. We have to hunt deer.
Oh, what's his name?
Christopher Lloyd.
No. But it's that one about the Vietnam War, and there's that really classic scene.
Chris Tucker.
No. These two men are playing Russian roulette with each other, just like one of the most notoriously intense scenes ever put on to American film. It's beautiful. And Christopher Walken does an amazing performance where he's all sweating in the dense jungles of Vietnam, and every time he does a little and it clicks, and he laughs outrageously because he just is panicked. He doesn't know what else to do.
Yeah.
Great scene, guys.
I've seen a lot of versions of that scene. And it might be referencing that.
I think it always is, because that's the quintessential.
It is just like the idea of Russian roulette, too.
I think it taught most of America what Russian roulette was.
Maybe.
I think that's the scene everyone thinks of.
So you're going to just run away after all of this? Run away? Don't make me laugh, Worthy. I stabbed old Goodman. That's what you're saying, right? But if you had any conclusive evidence, you would have presented it by now. Well, You think I had Lana dispose of the body? If so, then show your proof and get it over with. I'll say it again, Mr. Wright. Damon Gant is the current chief of police. This court will not tolerate any accusations against him without concrete proof. Well, Mr. Wright? Your Honor? Do you have any concrete proof? I think I know where this is going. Our proof is Lana. And as you said before, her motivation to lie is gone now, so she might as well just tell us everything. Which that also nullifies the whole point of everything we just did for the last 2 hours.
Yeah, Lana.
Lana could just fucking narc on him now.
Yeah, Lana.
Now that it's cast out of the bag, and it all happened because his password was too stupid. 7777777.
Dude, yeah. Everything could have been avoided if you just
if we all practiced proper data security.
Oh man.
Do you have any concrete proof? Proof that Chief Gant murdered Detective Goodman and made Miss Skye dispose of his body. Do I have any concrete proof?
Classic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't let him just squirm his way out of this. We'll have to handcuff him to the pew. I've got to keep the pressure on. Yes, Your Honor. I do have such evidence. It's this photo of Lana Skye, who is my next witness. Haha. Then please hurry and present it. Just remember, it better prove Chief Gant murdered Detective Goodman beyond a shadow of a doubt.
Blue Badger.
Oh, fuck, what are we gonna do?
Oh my gosh, it was Robert Downey Jr. Sorry, this whole time. I'm
Is it like a young Robert Downey Jr.? Like a
Christopher Walken and Robert Downey Jr. were super young in this movie.
Like the psychopath movie? Killer movie, what's it called?
Robert Downey Jr.?
Woody Harrelson movie?
Wait, now I'm questioning it.
Dog Will Hunt. What's that movie?
All I can think of is
what's that movie? Natural Born Killers. Is it like that age, Robert Downey Jr.?
Oh my gosh, that's not the guy. That's not the name I'm thinking of. I'm picturing the wrong person. That's not Robert Downey Jr.
Were you picturing Robert Downey Jr. from Natural Born Killers?
First of all, Natural Born Killers is one of my favorite movies, but yeah, he's a little baby in that one.
Little baby Jr.
And
he was a Robert Downey Jr.
That Dogs Will Hunt thing is from Jerry Was a Race Car Driver. That's not from Natural Born Killers. Dogs Will Hunt.
I think it shows up in the song from the soundtrack.
Really?
Of that movie.
I don't think so.
I think it's either the Jane's Addiction or Nine Inch Nails song.
Because I own that soundtrack.
Was it Burn?
Dog Will Hunt.
Oh, I'm mixing things up.
I think we're both so.
Or it might be that one of them has the speech in it or something.
Gosh, Keith, who?
I don't know the movie you're talking about.
Who's in Raging Bull? Who's in Taxi Driver?
I've never seen Raging Bull.
Why can't I remember this person's name?
I've never seen Taxi Driver.
Oh
we
my
talked
gosh.
about seeing ad after Joker, but then we just never quite got around to podcasting for like 6 months.
No.
Proof that he murdered Detective Goodman.
Robert De Niro. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I was like gonna freaking jump out the window. Robert De Niro. Thank you. See, Robert Downey Jr. kind of get it.
I don't.
Okay, sorry. Now I can focus.
I'm trying to think of evidence. It's hard.
Beyond a shadow of a doubt, do we even have anything like that? I mean, you could say maybe the shoe with the blood on the bottom. No, that doesn't make any sense at all. Nope, does not make any sense. The glove, because his name is Gant. No, that doesn't make sense either.
Isn't it this? Because it has blood on it, and that's the only time that this knife was truly used, is it's the original knife from the real murder. And it's from his evidence locker.
Yeah, it's from his evidence locker.
Yeah, it's from Goodman's evidence locker, which they accessed via, which he only accessed with Gant's
That is true.
card.
I think it's
Now that we've sorted through the 12 knives in this case, this one has not been actually placed down yet. Because she removed this from his body and stuffed it in the muffler, and then stabbed him with a Edgeworth's knife in the same place. So, what exactly is this evidence? It's proof as to whether or not it's enough to demonstrate Chief's guilt. I'll let you be the judge.
for once in your life.
But I am the judge. Womp womp. Oh, right. Well, what do you think, Your Honor? What I think, Mr. Wright, is I'm going to be late for lunch.
What?
Please, Your Honor, give me just a little longer to consider. I'll say it again, Mr. Wright. Damon Gant is the current chief of police.
Demon glove.
I feel like my argument was pretty good.
It was.
There's a knife that he had to get from his locker, and he only get his locker with Gant's help, and it's literally what was used to kill him. The Marshall had that.
The parking sub hasn't ever come up, but I think it's just to give us a time frame. The badger is definitely the answer.
Badger.
Yep. That's just the autopsy report. I don't think there's anything new in there.
What if the answer's finally no? What if after an entire game of always having the answer be yes, what if the answer's finally no, and we're supposed to let him go?
That'd be a twist.
What a twist!
I mean, yeah. Use that. Use that.
We've used so many pieces of evidence against him already.
Wait. No, wait.
That is the pool of blood that's in the evidence room where he had to have died when he was with them. So it might be that.
I mean, the glove was in the locker incorrectly, potentially as a result of this.
It seems to be some kind of hilarious coincidence because like Gant wasn't setting up Marshall to help him.
No, he wasn't. But
Marshall
the fact
just got insanely lucky and nothing made sense there.
But the glove was there incorrectly, almost as if, because Goodman's locker was open and somehow, I don't know, the glove got all shoved up in there. I don't know how that proves anything. I'm just saying it hasn't really come up at all.
Do you want to pick it?
No. No. Whose bloody handprint is that again?
That's Marshall's.
Okay, so that's done. We don't need that.
Yeah.
Watch the video again.
Of the not that crime. The wrong crime.
What about, I don't know how it's still not this crime, but there's that leather thing with freaking Emma's handprint on it. It still doesn't come up. That was in his safe. But, we already got the shard out of there. So, what purpose is this?
This is super irrelevant to the current crime, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it's still, one of those things that, should have been brought up earlier, because it's very incriminating, but... for the blackmail purposes, but
we even still keep saying that we'll keep this evidence to ourselves, which means the dialogue is still so old that it's before we even learned about Emma.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
I think it might be this, just because it's the blood. He's the only one that was there with the victim.
Yeah, and we know that, that blood really shouldn't have been from Meekins.
But yeah, it couldn't have been.
I mean, they argued that.
You got a tiny wound. I think we might be supposed to say no, though.
Oh, no. No.
I am the judge.
We died. You could try saying
I have no proof.
Yet. Oh, it says yet.
It's no use showing evidence if I'm not even sure myself. No, Your Honor. At present, I have no conclusive evidence. See, Udgy? In that case, this court is forced to penalize you for your allegations against the chief.
Why? What if we're fucking right?
What? That's not what trials are.
You can't do that.
How dare you do a trial? Wait. It's this is why it's 99% conviction rate, because one, all the 50 things that are stacked against me as a defense attorney, but also if I ever lose, I am executed.
That's not fair at all.
What? Here's a tip. Never gamble what you can't afford to lose, Righto. It seems that Lady Luck was on my side again today. Lady Luck. It shouldn't be down to luck whether or not you did a murder. He's really He was really self-incriminating.
Yeah. By saying oh, I got lucky, that basically implies that you definitely did it.
Okay, LG, I'll leave the rest to you. How am I going to be penalized? I can't tell if this is a game over or not. I warned you earlier, Mr. Wright. This is an affront to the senior officer in our nation's law enforcement agency. What?
Oh my gosh.
Lady Luck, maybe we should have a word with her.
Ooh, Lana.
Mr. Edgeworth, what do you mean? There's one lady who knows the real truth behind this trial. We haven't yet had the honor of hearing her testimony. A lady who knows the truth. Another witness. In the absence of conclusive evidence, the only other method of proof is testimony. But Chief Gant has invoked his right to refuse to testify. Yeah, Lana. There's still someone else. One more witness who can answer all of the questions raised in this trial. Someone right in this very room. Mr. Edgeworth, who is this person? Why are you asking me, Your Honor? Have you forgotten? The defense is the one calling witnesses today. Mr. Wright, does such a witness exist? She may not be willing to tell the truth, but we can't just stop now. Yes, Your Honor. The defense calls forth...
Yay!
The defendant, Miss Lana Skye. She was in the underground parking lot at 5:15 p.m. on February 21st. Her task? To dispose of the victim's body. In accordance with a certain someone's orders. Mr. Edgeworth? The prosecution has no objections, Your Honor. Very well. The court will now take its final recess for the day. There's still a whole extra segment. You thought we were done, but we're not.
Oh my...
This is a long day.
Well, well, it's not as if we're doing another investigation day.
Yeah, but it's like there's at least three trial segments in one day today.
Well, that's fine.
Gotta raise the stakes. In 15 minutes, we will reconvene to hear the defendant's testimony. This court is now in
Hold on.
Huh? Chief Gant, I thought you were going to eat.
Oh, he's upset now because...
Listen good, Lana.
That's not appropriate. You can't just come back and start addressing them directly in front of everyone.
Yeah. He's talking to Lana. I don't think you need me to tell you this, but if you accept Mr. Wright's claims, there will be terrible consequences.
What the fuck? You can't do this.
This is just straight up threatening people. That's right. Your sister will be found guilty for Neil Marshall's murder. We already proved that she did it.
It's an accident.
What?
Can you go to jail for accidents in this world?
I'm like, we already did this trial.
Edgeworth was already afraid that he was going to go to jail, or he was going to go to jail for his dad's murder, which was definitely would have been an accident if he had actually done it.
Yeah, in this universe, does accidental killing count as first-degree murder?
It does, because
if anything, it's manslaughter.
That was a threat there, and apparently it's a threat here.
And it was like a confusing self-defense manslaughter. In the United States, they would just be like, oh, she was just defending herself.
Also, these are both minors. They're both under 18. I don't think...
Were they both under 18?
Yeah.
He was a prosecutor.
Well, no. I meant the people who were perpetrating the murder. The quote.
You mean Edgeworth in the previous case?
I mean Edgeworth as a little kid. And then Emma. Like, they're both kids who accidentally killed someone. Potentially. Neither one... I don't think either one of them did.
This isn't good.
This is ridiculous.
Of course, you'd never support such outrageous claims anyway. Right? Just something to think about. Alright then. I've got a lunch date to meet.
Freaking get out of here.
He's the most self-incriminating character ever. It's hilarious.
Gosh.
Judge? You're not registering any of this, huh?
No.
Okay, if there aren't any further objections. Did you just pass out for a minute and wake up again? This court is now in recess.
Oh my god.
WT actual F. Looks like we managed to stay in the game. Yeah, thanks to your help, Edgeworth. That chief. He's something else, eh, pals? Detective Gumshoe. I'm not a detective anymore.
He's unemployed.
Oh yeah, sorry about that. Ah, don't worry. I've already decided where to work now. At your office. As a private investigator? He'll be so garbage.
I know, I think
he's gonna sabotage our investigation.
You're not gonna want him.
My office? Sure. I'll take the place of that top-knotted girl you used to work with.
Oh, the dynamic will be nearly as cute.
Oh no. Could he mean Maya? Yeah, that is one of her defining traits. Her weird thumb hair.
That it is thumb hair.
It's very, like, long. It's weird looking. Still, looks like we're all out of moves now. Chief Gant's done it again. How is it he always gets the upper hand? It's not fair he has the right to refuse to testify, the thing that everyone can do in real life, as far as I can tell. Settle down, right? Remember what the judge said? But Chief, that is not a right to be casually invoked. There are certain risks to be considered. Risks? What did he mean by that? It's simple. If the Chief refuses to testify, the opposite also holds true.
You mean he forfeits his right to say anything too? Oh yeah, it's there.
Emma, are you okay? You murderer, you.
Yeah, you killer.
How's it going, killer?
Yeah, when I came to, I was in the medical office. I've been listening to the trial from the gallery.
So she heard everything that's been going on. Emma, I'm sorry for what I said before.
No, don't be. It was the truth.
The blood's on my hands and my soul.
I killed him. You know, it's funny. I was so somehow relieved.
It'll never wash out. Never wash out. Never wash out.
Well, I did it once. I might as well just do it again.
Nope. Now this seal's broken. It'll never close.
Yeah.
Relieved?
Yeah. Now I finally know what really happened.
And what kind of person I am. Now I know what it feels like.
It was fun.
Like a dog that's tasted human flesh.
Yeah. To think that all this time, my sister was being blackmailed by that terrible man. And she did it all just to protect me.
Ever since her appointment as chief prosecutor, everyone who knew her said she changed. Perhaps it was easier that way for her. What do you mean? What do you think I mean? To follow Chief Gant's orders. She must have shut herself up deep inside. To force herself to do anything and everything the Chief told her to do. Wow, chicka wow. No. Inappropriate.
Sorry.
That must be why she became so cold.
It was all my fault. It's all because I murdered Mr. Marshall.
Hey, don't go blaming yourself now. If you want to blame anyone, blame society, pal. We live in a society, you know.
Society.
Society.
Chief Gant may be able to fool everyone else with his forgery, but he can't fool my memory. I remember now. I knocked Mr. Marshall into that armor.
I see. Well, we'd better get back. It's time for the final act. Emma, why don't you wait in here?
No, I'm going with you. I want to be there when Lana tells the truth.
Let's go, Wright. It's time to end this. Save. There we go. We made it. We did it. Only 12 more hours of court to go. Yeah, it's gotta be Lana. I mean, I guess we gotta have like a sister believe in yourself moment where she just like screams at her sister to tell the truth. And then
Lana, I believe in you. Tell the truth. And she'll say.
I mean, like, how hard could they make it? Like, at this point, it's like, your sister already knows the truth. Everyone already knows the truth.
Yeah, you really think she'd just be like, yo.
And Gant will go to jail, so.
But, like,
how is he gonna follow up his blackmail?
Yeah, but, Emma's gonna go to jail for accidental murder.
But we already know anyway.
I know.
What the cat's already out of the bag. You know how hard it is to put a cat in a bag?
A box would be easier.
A box would be significantly easier. They have an affinity.
You just leave a box out, it'll get it on its own.